What's up, guys? I'm a little bit late to the party here, but as you've probably heard, Sony has officially discontinued the PS Vita in Japan, and with that, I think we've reached the end of the Vita's lifespan. There's a couple of stragglers that are coming out in the next few years. I think a game was just announced a couple of days ago, actually, but I think for the most part, the Vita is basically done when it comes to new releases. And it's definitely a very bittersweet moment. It's really no secret that the Vita wasn't very successful, but I'll be honest here, that topic doesn't interest me all that much, and I'm not really here on for that today. I want to more so talk about my memories of picking up the system and playing my favorite games and all the good times I've had. I'll say this though, I basically agree with most of the talking points on why the Vita didn't do well. There's the memory card prices, the lack of first-party support, the rise of mobile gaming. I think all of those are true, and it's not really rocket science why the Vita didn't sell very well, and there's plenty of articles and videos on it. Now, I was actually a bit of a Vita hater for quite a while, and if we're going to be real here, the Vita doesn't appeal to the majority of gamers, but the library of games is filled with great JRPGs and visual novels, and that does appeal to me. And I think if you're watching this video, it probably appeals to you as well. And it took some really odd circumstances for me to finally pick up this system and realize how great it is. I was kind of on the hate train for a while, and I'm glad that I changed my mind. Basically, it was summer of 2016, and the way it was for me at the time was that during the school year, I was not playing video games like at all. And then when summer came around, I would just go all out and do my entire year's gaming in like 4 months. And at the time, 2 games that I really wanted to play came out during the school year, and that was The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky second chapter and Trails of Cold Steel. So the start of summer 2016, I decided to only play one of these games so that I could have time to play other stuff as well. I figured that if I played both of them, then I wouldn't have time to play all the other stuff that I wanted to play. And so I did that. I chose Trails in the Sky second chapter. I played it, I loved it, and that was that. Cold Steel was going to wait until next year. But then, with like 2 weeks left until school started, my dumbass really just wanted to play the game, and I said screw it and started it up anyways. So I started off the PS3 version, and for me, if I don't finish a game by the time school starts, I'll never finish it. So I had 2 weeks to finish Trails of Cold Steel, and I was eating, sleeping, and breathing Cold Steel on PS3 trying to finish this 80-hour game before school starts. But it still wasn't enough. I just straight up didn't have enough time, and the problem was that a couple of times a week, I had to go to a city that was like 2 hours away for some projects, and it would basically take my entire day. And during those bus rides, I couldn't play Cold Steel. So my solution to this was to buy a PlayStation Vita with the Vita version of Cold Steel and use cross-save. I was so obsessed with this game that I was willing to pay well over $100 just to play it on the go. So I go on Kijiji and I totally luck out and find someone selling the system for $100 Canadian with a 16GB memory card. And he wanted to meet at this like pretty sketchy mall, and I figured something might be up and I was going to get screwed over. So I think this guy picked up the system at launch, expecting a whole bunch of Western games, and then when he realized it was just Japanese games, he left it to dust for years and then didn't really know what he was selling. I'll take it though, whatever. So from here, I finished Cold Steel just in time for school, and then I realized, hey, I have a Vita now. I might as well check out the other games. And from there, I've had a lot of fun with the system. My collection is still pretty small, so I'll go through all of the games I got. First off, we got the Danganronpa series, and my god, I love it. The basic premise here is that you've got 16 characters trapped in a secluded area where they play this killing game hosted by a talking teddy bear named Monokuma. And the game's really simple. If you want to leave, you gotta kill someone and get away with it. But if you get caught killing someone after a class trial, you're executed on the spot. I was just super hooked on this series. There's tragic deaths, there's murder mysteries, great characters, and eventually these high school kids try to figure out the underlying truth of the killing game. I played the first game and V3 on the Vita, and I can tell you that they are solid versions of the game. The third one has some frame rate drops in the later class trials, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. The second game I played on PC, but my understanding of it is that the Vita version is very solid. All three of these games are fantastic, and I'd recommend them. Next, I've also got two Ys games on the system, and that's Memories of Celceta and Origin. These are action RPGs, and both of them are really, really good. For Celceta, I've just got the standard physical version, and for Origin, I got the limited run games copy. And this is actually the only limited run game I own, for the simple reason that it was the only one I was interested in at the time that it was coming out. Limited run is actually quite a big deal for a lot of Vita fans, but it's really not my thing. The game collecting limited run shtick isn't really for me. I usually just buy games that I like, and I don't care too much about collector stuff. But I don't want to knock people who do like it. If you're into collecting, then I say power to you. I gotta say though, the physical copy of Ys Origin has absolutely horrendous art, but it makes up for it by being a great game. It's a prequel to Ys Books 1 and 2, so be sure to play those ones first, and it's got gameplay similar to Felghana and Napishtim, where you're controlling one character and sort of just plowing through enemies. The story in this game is actually pretty good for an Ys game, so definitely check this one out. And Celceta is also a great game. You're sort of exploring this forest with Adol trying to regain lost memories, and the gameplay is the three-party system similar to Ys 7 and 8, where you're shuffling between party members to hit enemy weaknesses and take them out. Another great game here. Next up, I got Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero. These are absolutely brilliant visual novels that just sort of start off with a bunch of quirky friends doing weird science experiments in a shopkeeper's apartment, but it evolves into this tear-jerking story about the main character's dedication to his friend. It's super touching and admirable, and it's one of two games that have made me physically cry. As for Steins Gate Zero, it's not as good, but still worth playing to see what happens to your favorite characters. There's plot holes here, and the game bites off more than it could chew, but at the end of the day, I still got to see my favorite future Gadget Lab members all together again. Now I've got a copy of Persona 4 Golden, and this game is still exclusive to the Vita. If you ever want to make an argument as to why someone should grab a Vita, this game is it. What can I really say about it? It's Persona 4, but better. You've got a great cast of characters, a fun battle system, social links, and an awesome mystery. It's really just all you can ask for in a game. A lot of people call it the best game on the system, and I can definitely see where they're coming from here. I also have the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster, and this was sort of a convenience pickup. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and if I'm ever on the go and I'm not sure what to play, I can just pick this up and do some post-game stuff. Plus, I've got cross-save on the PS4, and it's just really nice. Overall, it's a really competent portable version of the game, and if you've never played it before or you just want to play it portably, check it out. And finally, I've got Cold Steel 1 and 2, two brilliant turn-based RPGs. Just like the rest of the series, it's got great world building, attention to detail, and so many different factions and entities just vying for power and control in the continent. With these games in particular, I really love Class 7 and all the free time events you've got with them. I do have some grievances with Cold Steel 2, but even then, it's still a good game. If you haven't played these yet, you should absolutely check them out. And that's it for my Vita collection. It's very small, just 10 games, but I honestly love every single one of them and have great memories playing them all. Some people out here have dozens or even hundreds of Vita games, and I think that's amazing. It's really cool to see how many people are passionate about the system, and personally, even if the production is done, I'm nowhere near done with the system yet. There's still tons of stuff out there that I really want to play, and I'll be using my Vita for years to come. Just to name a few, there's Mary Skelter, which is this really cool looking dungeon crawler that's got a lot of positive reception. There's Shiren the Wanderer, a roguelike that a lot of people recommend. We've also got Odin Sphere, which is an absolute classic, and when I get around to it, I would definitely love to play it on the go. I also want to try Code Realized Guardian of Rebirth, which from my understanding is this sort of shoujo otame visual novel. It would definitely be outside my comfort zone to play it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And honestly, with these games, I'm really just scratching the surface. Like I said earlier, I totally understand that the Vita doesn't really appeal to the sort of core gamer that likes to play shooters or action-adventure games or Western RPGs, but if you like JRPGs or visual novels, you'd really be surprised by how much the system has to offer. And that's about it for this video. What are your favorite Vita games and memories playing the platform? And also feel free to let me know what you recommend on this platform. I am by no means a Vita expert, and I'm always happy to learn about a new Vita game. Anyways guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.